So we finally got the clear close on that. We'll close on that one. But that was one of the longer deals I've ever held on to. Typically it's like a 1 to 2 month turnaround from contact to close. This is going to be well over like 6 months. It'll be about 6 months from contact to close. But our title company figured it out, seller and everything, and buyer still on board. So it's nice to get that one off the books, and just a deal's a deal. You learn something. Like I was telling Carson, because this is one of his first deals, like one of his first 10 deals. I was like, even though these aren't crazy big deals, you literally get paid $1,300 to learn how to deal with a new situation.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think the lesson was probably worth more than the check on that one.
Yeah, for sure. And the check's still pretty good. Like,
yeah, I mean, the work is the same work. Probably didn't take that many hours to do, but I mean, the loan was from 1990 or 1991. So you also think about the time frame. What a typical loan is, a 30-year loan, and like you said, banks want their money. I mean,
yeah,
hard to see them.
It probably got paid off, and the mortgage company sends a discharge of mortgage to the homeowner, and the homeowner gets it in the mail.
I forgot she did say that.
Yeah, and then the homeowner the mortgage company should have recorded it, but they didn't want to spend the $25 to record it, so they sent it to the homeowner for the homeowner to record it. And 99% of the homeowners just look at it and file it away or throw it away, and they never record it. And then the company goes out of business when the things happen like that, and or it gets and then another bank buys them and they go out of business, and it's a mess. So
yeah, but it's a pretty safe bet for the title company to still insure that. But and another thing that they could have done, and I asked my buyer if he would be okay with this, is you can like have a title policy with an exemption on it. So the title company could say, we'll insure this if there's no construction liens, taxes, blah, blah, blah. But if something comes up with this specific mortgage, we're not taking care of that. So then they would have that exemption on their title policy, and it'll say that on the title policy. So if buyers ever ask you to read the title policy for a deal, they want to make sure there's no exemptions. They just want to make sure they're getting covered with everything, because you can do that on a deal. So, and it's something to have in your back pocket if you ever need to use it.
Yep.
So
you could have went back to the seller and said, look, we can't find this mortgage, blah, blah, blah. And you could have got it on a quick claim deed. You could have got a lot cheaper, but good job. You guys followed through with it,
Yep. Yeah. So those two deals took a long time, but we didn't spend any time on it while we were waiting. I mean, we haven't even thought about it for the past 2 months, really. It's just been sitting there.
Yep.
So it's definitely still worth the time. But yeah, those are some that I've working on, and we'll close that one with me and Carson next week, most likely.
Nice. Awesome. Hey, Mike, Peter, there's a question in there about Propstream.
Yeah.
Insight on that?
Yeah, totally. Propstream is an invaluable software. You certainly can't go wrong with, making it part of your budget. I mean, month after month, it pays for itself easily. Just being able to get the information, like, for instance, I had, I don't even know why, but a title company, they didn't have it. They needed a deed for a property that for some reason they couldn't find. Propstream had the freaking deed on it. I downloaded it for $5 and sent it to the title company, and immediately squashed the issue we had. So I was just like, like little stuff like that. And just the comping tool that it has. I mean, outside of obviously having the MLS, I mean, Propstream is like a close second to, MLS access. And then, 10,000 leads for $100 a month, like, it's a no-brainer. So yeah. So yeah, don't be hesitant to take the plunge and get Propstream. I mean, I use it daily, so definitely a big believer in it. So
yeah, don't be scared to spend money on wholesaling. Like those are the right things to spend money on, is those systems that will help you. I know some people who are like just afraid to spend $50 a month on something especially after you've closed the deal. Don't be afraid to reinvest that into your business, because when you're first starting, it's like, okay, maybe you're just trying to, oh, I don't have the right, materials to wholesale, and you're making excuses and getting more systems and more courses and more systems and courses. But especially once you close your first couple of deals, like those systems, like Mike said, that $100 a month just made him how much he'll ever make on that deal. It could have been a deal breaker if he didn't have that. So as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, and Propstream is awesome because I mean they it's not like they just built the program and then forgot about it. I mean, just in the last like couple of weeks, and I talked about this in the comments last episode, but for instance, they just added a new filter, which is pre-probate deceased owners. Guys, that's a pretty juicy list, that's right there in Propstream. So put whatever county you want in and then go to the filter section. It's right there, pre-probate deceased owners, and boom, you've got yourself a whole different motivated sellers list that could be more or less like untapped right now. So it's cool that that they're updating it and making it a better software. So
Michael, that list is the deceased owner's a family member. Is that who it is?
Yeah, it's deceased owners pre-probate. I ended up pulling the list for Genesee County, and funny enough, I had a decent amount of the list already, just from like vacant absentee owners. But it's you never know. You'll be able to pull a list, and there might be a second owner on title that you'll be able to get in touch with to market to. So I definitely would give it a shot, guys, in your county, and see what you can pull up. It's definitely worth a shot.
Another tip, Michael, you could go to Legal News, and in the Legal News they have probates, and it will have at the bottom whoever's handling the probate for that, their name and their phone number. In a lot of cases.
See, there you go. See, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
What was that again?
I'll show it to you tomorrow.
Don't you have to subscribe to Legal News though? Or,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Or you call me and we'll squat up. I'm
I'm all about that. Leveraging those get all these things that you have to subscribe to if you can get a bunch of people to pull up.
You really should check your credit card. I just did it yesterday, and there was a few things that was still on my credit card. Even though I canceled like a CRM, I got charged the last 2 months on it, so I disputed it. But yeah, and then I'm looking at other things that, like MailChimp. I don't need MailChimp anymore because I have a different way of doing things. So I got a huge buyers list in MailChimp. So I'm having my VA move all my buyers over to a different way to my CRM that I'm using now, and then I'm gonna get rid of MailChimp. So just keep an eye on it. Just like if someone has a membership to a gym, I probably have 3 gym memberships and never go. So that's why I'm so fat. But I'll still kick Carson's ass in basketball. But anyway, anyway, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But I used to have Deal Machine and I didn't use it. So you got to make sure you use these things. Propstream, like Michael said, is a great source to get lists and all kinds of information. And they have other ones that you could do driving for dollars virtually or different ones like that. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
It seems like
Propstream, sorry.
Go ahead.
Propstream has a mobile app where you can sign in your account and do a driving for dollars on Propstream.
I used that this morning and I love it.
So it's actually like linking into your GPS and tracking where you're at and linking to
you
the
can
houses.
just label it and save it and go back to it and whatnot and bring them all together. It's nice.
So can you like tag properties as you're going along?
Yeah, Yeah, well, that's all you're doing. You're tagging them, and then when you get on the computer, you can see what you tagged on mobile.
Right.
So, and you can just bring them into your list that you want to do, and then you can run them through your skip trace and all that. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you know if does that count as part of your 10,000 leads for your month?
If you download the leads, yes.
So if you want to export
So
them, then yeah.
yeah, yes. If you export it, because you can look up as many leads as you want, and it doesn't charge against it. It's when you export the list and download them. That's when it charges you.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean it's hard to get to 10,000 if you're just driving for dollars, but I was just curious if that was
Right.
counted toward that.
Right.
Yeah,
But that's what
awesome.
we use actually for our comps and everything. And I know sometimes it's not, the most up to date as far as the sold properties and things like that, but it's as close as I can get without having access to MLS, to be honest. So,
Oh yeah, Propstream is. I mean, I feel the same way Todd does. Like, there's so many times that I'm like, oh my gosh, this system, like, it's gonna solve all my problems. I get it, and I use it once a month, and then I'm like, what the heck? Like, I just canceled the system like a week ago that I haven't used in 6 months, and it's been billing me or it was like 8 months, and they could only refund me like 3 months because I logged in 4 months ago, and so I've been using it, but I was just, I just never checked it. But Propstream, I've had for close to 2 years now, and never canceled it. Like, it's definitely probably the first system I'd recommend anyone getting. There's just so much you can do on it. I mean, you can skip trace on it if you want to, but from driving to dollars to pulling lists to looking things up, I mean, I use it on a daily basis. I'm sure Mike does too.
Yeah, and I know doesn't Batch have one now that's similar?
Yeah, Batch has like and that's something I would
Batch-driven.
consider even moving over to. If you're gonna focus on cold calling and stuff, I haven't really researched their stuff, but they have a dialer, they have a good texting program, you can pull leads through there and skip trace through there. So the benefit there would just be having everything in one place. But I've never used their system really.
I heard on a podcast someone was being interviewed, and they have Propstream and actually I think it was Pace Morby, who is one of the owners of the Batch Driven or Batch or whatever. They still use Propstream and they use their Batch because Batch pulls certain lists a certain way, but better than Propstream, and then Propstream has a certain list that they pull better than their list. So it'd be something to check out, but, and I know a lot of them have a 30-day free trial, but again, you got to use it. I had Propstream for 30 days, opened it once, and that's me because I'm too busy, doing whatever, driving dumpsters or something, so.
For real. But yeah, I just plugged, we were talking about skip tracing, guys. Skip with us. It's ran by a buddy of mine that I met actually on a trip to Arizona. Quality data, guys. I mean, I was using batch skip trace just like everybody else, for damn near twice the price. And ever since I started using his services at 9 cents a skip, I mean, and I've looked at my numbers, it's on par with like my answer rate and when it comes to calling people. So, and Batch will give you 3 or 4 numbers. I literally get 10 numbers from him on some accounts. LLCs spot on, like just with the LLC company name, I'm able to get the owners. So yeah, I just wanted to plug his services again real quick. For him, you have to have at least 1,500 records. It's something he's working on. Bringing that requirement down. But anyways, so just wanted to plug that real quick if anyone's looking for quality skips for cheap.
Yeah, you have to have 1,500.
Yeah, you have to have at least a list of 1,500. I'm hopefully just gonna have him on one of these weeks. So you kind of explain maybe why, or why it's important to, because you go on Facebook sometimes, you see like people advertising, oh, get free skip tracing from me, free list, yada yada yada, which sounds cool and all, but there's definitely a certain threshold of like quality. And even if I was to look at this and say 9 cents a skip, like I would be hesitant, but I mean, just take it from me, like ever since I started using them, he's the only guy I use now. So super good data. He gets his data just like Batch gets his data, but he's able to basically cut out the middleman because he went through the process of getting TLO and getting certified, and it's a year process to get your like criminal investigator, degree or something to where you get access to that stuff that's linked to those records. So, anyways, just thought I'd plug that in real quick.
Yeah, I used to have, if you ever heard of the phrase TLO, I don't know what it means. That's probably similar to what he uses. It's like the best.
It is.
And it used to cost me $1, which was nothing, because we used to do it, if we couldn't find someone. I mean, I was getting people's driver's license numbers, social security numbers. I mean, it's very dangerous, right? And TLO was great. And they come into your office and they make sure you have locks, and then they just started canceling everyone who was in the real estate. So I had it for like 3 or 4 years. It was really my previous partner. We had it for 3 years, and then they canceled it. But yeah, TLO was great.
Trish, you asked what our most effective forms of marketing have been. It's kind of the same for me and Todd. Mike kind of runs a bit of a different model. But we all have ran all these models, and they're all tried and true. Really, I mean, as far as we're concerned, they're all just as effective. You just have to be consistent with any of them, really. The more you pay for marketing, generally, the more effective it's going to be, but you're paying for it. So it's like if you have 5 hours a day to do cold calling and not a big budget, cold calling is very effective because you're getting them on the phone right away, and you're going to have to talk with them eventually. So that is a super effective way. It just, I guess, depends what you mean on with effective, but we've done all of them. Like, we put up banner signs, Facebook ads, Google pay-per-click is amazing. Mailers are still great. Those are not a thing of the past. Like, huge companies still use mailers. I recommend those to people. We do everything. So it just depends what your budget is. But starting out, when I first started out, I talked to a guy who had spent $60,000 and not done a deal. And I met him at a real estate meeting, and he was like drunk talking, and he told me that before he got drunk, but he was at this real estate meeting just drinking and drinking and drinking. And I'm like, and maybe that had nothing to do with it, but in my head, I'm like, dude, like, you're at a real estate meeting to network, and you're just sitting over here with your buddy getting drunk. Maybe that's the problem. And so when people start out, I say, don't spend a ton of money on marketing because you don't have to. And if you can't get a deal without spending a lot of money, then this business isn't for you. So you don't need to starting out, but the more money you spend, the less work you have to do to get deals.
Yeah.
If you do it in the right way.
Yeah, would agree with that. Carson.
Yeah. So me and Todd, we closed 37 deals last month between the two of us. And between office rent, CRMs, employees, and everything, we maybe spent $2,000 to $4,000 between the both of us.
Yeah.
To close 37 deals. So if you need to spend more than $5,000 to get your first deal, or to get a consistent deal every month, there's easier ways to do it.
And out of the deals that I closed, Carson, I probably told you this, every deal but one was I squatted up with someone. So whatever I made, they made that too. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
That is huge.
Yep.
It's huge.
Our baby.
Yeah, the first deal I did last month, the person who brought me the deal made $35,000 on it.
Yep.
So with that, my first form of marketing was mailers, and I did that. I put out, it was like 450 mailers and stuff like that. Then we got into cold calling, or we were doing some cold calling, some text message blasts, things like that. I've learned that have the mailers be the last thing, because as far as try to reach out to them, as far as text message blast, do this, and then if you know you got the right person, then do the mailers, because I got a good half of those back and that was just wasting money.
Yeah.
It's
and when you're starting out, you don't want to send 1,000 mailers and then sit and twiddle your thumbs for weeks, because that's what you're going to do. And you might get a call 2 weeks later, but I agree with that. I would start cold calling and then add that on.
You know what? The mailers you received back, Randy, those are gold, because you should skip trace those. And the reason I say they're gold is because other people mail those people and they get the mail back. So those people are not people. A lot of times they just keep mailing other people. So you skip trace those people and try to dig and find the owners on those type of deals.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I noticed with the mail, I know a few big mailers in the area, and they were spending $100,000 a month in mailers, and they were killing it. But COVID hit, they scaled way back. They changed their whole business model. I think they even, they just started cold calling and doing other things, because mailers can be expensive. So you got to be, all of it's expensive. Cold calling is expensive. You're using VAs, and you're doing this and you're doing that, but you got to track your KPIs and where you're getting the deals from, how you're getting them, and see what makes the most sense.
Any other questions at all?
It's funny, I jumped off onto this from another call with a different group, and the comment about return mailers being gold was almost verbatim.
Was it?
From the other guy? Yeah.
Awesome.
Was that Dylan Tanaka?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was talking about that same idea.
He stole it from me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
speaking of Dylan, the Michigan Real Estate Investors Association meeting is tomorrow at 6:30. I know me, Mike, Matt, Carson are all going. Are you going to be there, Todd?
Where's it at?
That the one
it's in Troy. Wendy Patton's.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys can make that, you have to sign up for it. You can do like a guest reservation for the first one, I think, or can you not, Matt?
You can. You can for your first one, yeah.
Okay.
You can pretty much do it for everyone.
Or you can. Yeah. What do you do, Matt? Just give them a different email address every time?
No, just pay the $20 register fee.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can pay as you go. You don't have to sign up for the year. You can pay $20 a meeting.
Yeah, but COVID, I think you might have to pre-sign up because of COVID.
You can
Yeah,
still,
you do have to pre-sign up.
Yeah, you have to pre-register, but you can still just pay as you go instead of paying a couple $100 a year, whatever it is.
Are you going, Jay?
I am not. I don't think. I think this one they got like people talking about deals or something like that. Sometimes I'll go depending on the content. Like last month they did a virtual one and it was Vina Cox Jones or whatever her name is, and my son and I listened to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's a drive for me now to get down to Troy.
Yeah.
I mean shit, I used to drive from Heartland over to Troy for those meetings.
Yeah.
You know, fairly religiously.
Where are you at, Jay?
I'm in Lansing now, Okemos.
Okay.
Yeah, Wendy Patton. Actually, I was listening to Sunday service with Pace Morby, and he mentioned Wendy Patton.
Oh,
He
wow.
said for lease options,
Yeah.
she has a lease options book out there, and she was the queen of lease options. She used to go all over the country all over the United States, talking about lease options, you know, but Pace said this, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard him say that she's not actively doing lease options now.
No,
I
she's
think
sold.
she's at a point
she's-
where she's humongous, you know, she's, you know, she's not a guru anymore, but you know, she brings in a lot of good people into her thing, into her meetups. Be careful. Don't sign up for the $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 courses. If it's $1,000 or something, you know, you got to do what's best for you, but just be careful because
Yeah,
people are
that was
salespeople. They know how to sell them, you know.
that was one of the reasons I stopped going as frequently, is because every week or every month,
Yeah.
excuse me, just was another sales pitch from another guru, you know,
Yeah.
about this, that, or the other thing. But yeah, she sold her lease option teaching business or to a guy named Jim Adiolet or something like that. He's
Adiolet.
out of, what's that?
Jim ate a lot.
Yeah, he's out of like Owasso or,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's now doing what was Wendy's lease option course. He's teaching it now.
I'll say like, and I've talked to Jim, and he's a good dude. Like, I was talking to the other Carson because he's going to the Saturday thing. So what they do is they have their Thursday night meetup, then they try to sell you the course, and then they have their Saturday workshop where they try to sell you the course again.
Right.
And I went to Jim Adelot's Saturday meetup, and it was good. Like they give you just enough information. You're not gonna have enough to do it completely, but I still went and I still learned. And I mainly go to Wendy's meetups for the same reason as you, Jay, to network, because it is typically just a sales pitch, but you get new ideas in your head, and then you also make connections with people. So I still love going, but definitely be ready to get sold. And I would run it past someone, like run it past Todd or something before you buy a course, because some of them I think are worth it. And I preach courses, but don't buy a course every month.
And there's
exactly.
There's certain speakers that she brings in like every year that I wouldn't miss those guys when they, like John Heyer. He's I don't know if you guys ever seen him. He's amusing to listen to, for one thing, but he's very, very, very knowledgeable. He's a tax attorney and CPA, and he's a don't miss when he comes in.
Yeah,
you know, he's worth it to do the Thursday night and do the Saturday deep dive. There's a couple of others that I think are really good too, because like you say, you learn some stuff, even if you don't buy the course.
Yeah, I bought a course through there. It was a foreclosure course, and I got something out of that course. That's why I bought it. It was like $1,000. It was worth every penny. So if you're gonna get the contracts and learn about lease options and do all that for $1,000 or less, it might be worth it. You know what I mean? So you gotta, those weekend events are great, depending on what it is. But yeah, so I'm not saying not to do it, but I'm talking about when they're trying to sell you, like, what's the name? Like Fan Merrill's trying to sell you. When 4 years ago, his course, his big thing was 20 grand. Now it's like 50, 60, 70 grand. And I just hear so many people that regret it or never do anything. So not saying it's not good, not saying it's bad, but again,
I would just say starting up, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Don't.
I bought the course from the lady that allegedly taught Fan Merrill.
Yeah.
Robin Thompson. She's
Was that the flipping course?
Yeah, she did Junkers to Millions or something like that was kind of the name of her course. I actually went to her boot camp down in Ocala, Florida, and my wife at the time, she went also. And you know, we flipped half a dozen houses based on the information we learned. So I mean, we made a shitload more than we spent on it. So
and she speaks at Wendy Patton's. She comes in and talks at her meetup. Yeah.
Yep. She comes pretty much every year. But
so
I bought one that